So we all know that the FBI has been unleashed by Merrick Garland, our Attorney General, and he's saying that, there's been terroristic threats. Well, we find out today that Loudoun County, Virginia, the school board meeting where one of the parents was arrested, and he, I guess, is the catalyst. He was arrested for being disorderly, yada, yada, yada. And have been suggested now that it was a form of domestic terrorism. We found out now that his daughter had been raped in the bathroom by a, quote, transgender student, a student that just identified as bisexual and wears a skirt from time to time. When you hear the whole story, it is remarkable. The school district knew it. They were trying to cover it up. Thank goodness for the sheriff's department. She was taken to a hospital after the school said that she had been beaten up. No, she had been raped, and the rape kit told the story. And as they cover it up, that kid goes on to rape or at least sexually batter another kid in school. And at the meeting with the school board, the superintendent said, to my knowledge, we don't have any record of assaults occurring in our restrooms. Board chair said, have we had any issues involving transgender students in our bathroom or locker room? The answer is yes. This is why the dad went nuts. You would have gone nuts too. Now the FBI doing the dirty work for the leftists and for the unions and school boards. They're out of control. They're now looking into parents, because you don't have a right. Chris Stewart is with us. He's a congressman, and he has written a letter to AG Garland demanding answers. Welcome to the program, Chris.
Hey, good morning, Glenn. Look, it's interesting to see who Attorney General Garland, he has shown who he really is. And if we go to bed tonight thankful for one thing, it's that he was not put on the Supreme Court.
Yeah, you
because he can try to destroy our country for 4 years, but at least he won't be doing it for 40 years, which he would have been. But this is just beyond outrageous, Glenn. I mean, you look how quickly things have changed. In a matter of months, we've gone from Trump is a fascist to Trump supporters are fascist terrorists to young people like my daughter who's expecting and thus does not want to take the vaccine right now. She's a domestic terrorist. To parents who love their kids and are scared to death of the poison that's being taught in schools are now domestic terrorists. And this attorney general is going after them and turning a blind eye to everything else that's going on in the world. It's unimaginable to me.
So you wrote a letter to the attorney general and you asked for 5 questions to be answered. You want to go through them?
Well, and to be clear, too, it's not just me, Glenn, and this is good because there were 60 of us who joined on this letter. And I don't know, I'm searching my memory. I don't know of any effort like this that had 60 members of Congress who signed on within a few days. But essentially, the 5 questions are, you make this accusation that parents, as I said, concerned parents who are going to their school board and are just voicing their concerns. And by the way, the extreme majority of them, the vast majority of them, are doing so in a very patient and reasonable way. And from that, you've lurched to, as we've said already, they are a threat of domestic terrorism. So basically, show us the evidence. Show us the evidence where you have reached this conclusion. And secondly, we want to know how you reach this conclusion, not only the evidence, but what kind of coordination took place between the White House and activist groups and teachers' unions and the Department of Justice, because you know that there was. In fact, we have evidence that there was. And in fact, the White House is the ones who initiated this. They asked for these activist groups to write this inflammatory letter to the Department of Justice saying they were intimidated and that they felt threatened, and then giving the Department of Justice, Attorney General Garland, the excuse to say, okay, well, we have to respond. For finally this, why in the world is this not a local law enforcement issue?
Right.
If you're not intent on intimidating, harassing, and silencing parents, why won't you let the local law enforcement agencies, who are perfectly capable of dealing with an activist who gets out of line, why do you have to bring in the heavy hand of the Department of Justice and the FBI unless your intention is to silence and intimidate? And I tell you, I wish every parent would go to the next school board meeting. I don't care when it is. Please go and just show your presence so that we can show Attorney General Garland that this is going to have the exact opposite effect of what he hoped for.
So, Chris, I mean, they don't answer letters. They don't answer Congress. They don't answer to anybody anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of, it feels like a United Nations reprimand at this point. Oh, yeah. Gee.
Yeah. Well, a strongly worded letter, as we all say in satire, right?
Right.
And unfortunately, Glenn, it's one of the few tools that we have. I mean, we don't control the House. If we controlled the House, if I were chairman of a committee in a year, we could hold hearings and we could subpoena and we could demand that they come in, and they can't ignore subpoenas. But when Nancy Pelosi is in charge and when Chuck Schumer's in charge, there's very few tools that we have. Now, it can be a benefit. For example, you and I are talking about it right now. So it does help to raise awareness. And eventually, he is going to have to answer this letter in some fashion. Now, it might be 3 months from now, and you might say, well, we're still working on it. That's probably what he will do. I have no illusions at all that he's working every night late into, till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, trying to, answer this letter to these Republican members of Congress. I'm not foolish. I know that he's not. But it's one of the few tools we have, and it's one of the few ways that we can help the public become aware. And also, Glenn, so the people know we're infuriated by it as well, that we're not just passively watching and sitting by. We feel the same way that parents feel about this.
So, I mean, 2 years is going to be very long. I mean, how long has he been in office? 10 months? 9 months? Look at how our country, and I don't think, I mean, I believe you probably believe the same thing. A year from now, this country is going to be radically different. Radically different.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, one of the things...
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Glenn, I didn't mean to interrupt. But one of the things that, I mean, people reflect to me all the time, and they say to me all the time, and you and I feel it, it's not just that things are changing, they're changing so fast. You can't wrap your head around one issue, and 3 more issues have already gone by you. And certainly that's their intention. Their intention is to flood the beach. I mean, they revealed this on the stay in office. We are going to flood the beach. They're not going to be able to keep up. They won't be able to object because we will go so quickly and so broadly across our society. And when you look at what he's accomplished or unaccomplished in 8 months or 9 months, and you think, how do we live through 4 years? I do think you reach a point of critical mass where they've done pretty much all they can do. I mean, you've already tried to destroy the military. You've already destroyed Department of Justice, FBI, now school boards, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, at some point they may run out of targets, but it's to leave our country, as you said, a really different place.
Yeah, I have to tell you, Chris, I mean, this all makes sense if you look at it as, something I said a long time ago. The enemy of the future will be chaos, and we all know who the author of chaos is. What they're creating is not only chaos, but gridlock. Look at our airplanes. Airplanes not flying. Southwest's not able to fly. Why? Because the pilots are on a sick out, and it's going to happen all over. And if it doesn't work to change Southwest's mind, Friday those guys are gone. Friday, the police officers are gone. You won't have enough pilots. You won't have enough police. You won't have enough anything to be able to pull ourselves back from the brink. To me, this is a computer that all of the apps are starting to freeze on you. The only thing you can do is push the reset button. And I think that's what they're trying to cause. Everything they're doing is throwing this is sabotage. Sabotage.
Yeah, Glenn, I just couldn't agree more. There's 2 things that will be the outcome of this, and both of them are horrible. Number one is they just want to break faith with the American people. They want the American people to look at the government, to look at institutions, to look at everything from religion to Department of Justice, to pick an institution, and just to conclude they don't work anymore. And the point of that is being, well, maybe our nation is so broken that we really should just start over.
Yep.
And if we're going to start over, then what will we do? And you know what they're going to suppose. But there's also another element to this, and that is the United States, whether we like it or not, Glenn, we are the light and the example to the world. And it allows them to go to President Xi in China or leaders in the Middle East or Vladimir Putin in Russia and say, look at that mess. Do you really want to be like that? It allows those leaders to go to their own people and to say, look at the United States, what a mess. Do you really want to be like that? But stick with me, and we're going to avoid that kind of chaos. We're going to avoid that kind of hatred and emotion and the disruption. And those two things, as I said, it changes our future. It changes the future for our children. If we can't keep a core together of people saying, no, I love my country. My country is not perfect, but my country is not completely broken. And if we can't go to the rest of the world and say, look, we're struggling right now, but you got to stay with us. We're going to fix it. We can get through this because we can. But it's going to be a real fight to do it.
Chris, thank you so much. God bless you. God bless you. Keep up the fight.
You, sir.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Chris Stewart. Yep. What?
I was going to say we got to stay optimistic. We got to stay in the fight because we can't just lose faith in our future. I know you feel that way, Glenn. You have said that to me many times.
Yeah, we're in it. We're in it. We're in it until one way or another. We're all in. Thank you so much, Chris. I appreciate it. I urge you to go to your school board meeting. Even if you're not having this problem, you need to send a very clear message nationally. We are in charge of our children, not you. Everyone must go to their local school board meeting. You have to be there.